You're listening to DraftKings Network.
This is the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
Final warning, everybody. Today is the final day that you can enter in our Miller Lite sweepstakes, where you and 3 friends can fly down for a fun weekend in Miami and get to sit in on a taping of the show with us, and also get to experience our Monday Night Football watch party. All the details on this and how to enter right now are at millertimemiami.com. There is no purchase necessary. It's open to all legal U.S. residents age 21 and older. It ends today. So get in all your entries as fast as possible before we close. See all the official rules at millertimemiami.com and additional details forthcoming on how you can hang out with us that day, even if you don't even win the contest.
I know a lot of people are making jokes about Andre 3000 producing his first music in 17 years, and he's doing so. Is it all flute? It's all instrumental, but is it all flute?
I believe it's all flute.
That is
His portions.
That is exotic. That was the laugh of Juju Gotti. I believe if I tell anybody out here, if I say Andre 3000, I mean, super creative, super arty, but I can't separate him from Big Boy. It's Outkast or nothing for me, and I like the Big Boy music that he's made individually away from Andre 3000. But for me, I just associate the two with each other. Is everyone making jokes? Is anyone going to give this a chance on Friday? Or is everyone making jokes about, I'm not going to listen to an album that is meditative, that is spiritual, that is meant to be instrumental?
I'm going to give it a chance for sure. I think it's going to be amazing. Just because it's Andre 3000, I'm in. We got a lot of music about a lot of things right now, but we don't have a lot of flute about a lot of things. So
it's an excellent point.
It's been said a million times. Old take.
It's true. We don't have put it on the poll, please, Juju. Bring back the flute, yes or no, at Le Batard Show. Amin is back, and he's rushed in here with a list of billionaires, most evil billionaires.
Have you guys seen the track list for Andre 3000's upcoming album? Because right off the top, he addresses everyone's concerns, because the name of track 1 is I Swear I Really Wanted to Make a Rap Album, but this is literally the way the wind blew me at the time.
And all of the are all of the tracks that long and that
they're all pretty wordy.
Explanatory.
There is one that gets right to the point.
And awesome.
There is one that gets right to the point. If you could throw it up again. Ants to you, gods to who?
Oh, deep, brother.
I don't know how high it was.
Hold on.
Track 3 looks pretty descriptive.
Let me try reading that.
That night in Hawaii when I turned into a panther and started making these low register purring sounds that I couldn't control, shit was wild.
I'm actually really in on this. I want to hear that. I love that song as a flute. Let's go.
Give me a second, guys. I want to read number 7. As Emmanuel Acho, ants to you, gods to who?
I'd rather hear it as DMX.
I needed Lucy yesterday.
Dude, it's DMX.
Lucy is supportive. Yes, you did need Lucy yesterday, but it was plenty good. Whenever you're Emmanuel Acho not reading, you're exceptional. Emmanuel Acho reading, you struggle some with because you can't get that deeply into character reading when you have to give it so much thought.
I listened yesterday, and I thought you did a great job. The inflection was very good.
Thank you.
I will tell people as a tease to the Marcellus Wiley South Beach session that we're doing tomorrow that he sets Emmanuel Acho on fire. Just sets him on fire.
But damn. Dreams once buried beneath the dungeon floor slowly sprout into undying gardens. Here's an example.
Here's an example is a great crutch. It saves almost every time that he loses confidence in the impression, he just goes, here's an example. And he pulls me right back in.
It's the antiquado. It's the Sasha, Michelle, Malia. It's the, like they all have, you mean to tell me? Like they all have one phrase, one crutch I got to come back to. And for Acho, it's, here's an example.
One of the things about your impersonations is that most of them are best as limited fakes. It's when we start expanding them a little bit more and testing them that you start going to the boundaries of the limits of your confidence.
Hey, Amin, what ended the dinosaurs?
The Ice Age. It's the dinosaurs, not dinosaurs. Those.
Before we get to Amin's most evil billionaires list, I did want to get his thoughts on, Rudy Gobert said, anytime Steph's not out there, Draymond's going to get ejected. And I think it was Haberstroh that ran some of the numbers. 7 of his last 11 ejections are Steph's not playing in that game. And Draymond's like, I'm a champion. I'm frustrated. I don't feel like playing either. Why do I have to play? And he might just be getting ejected because the games don't matter if Steph's not there. And that team has done plenty of winning. The 5-game suspension, what was your thought on all of that, given that Draymond has a resume that is unlike anyone else's in the league when it comes to dirty play and just nonsense?
Let me just say this. If the NBA commissioner job was up for election, I would be running Oppo stuff against Adam Silver all the time about how he's soft on crime. Because 5 games for a guy with a noted history of violence seems a little light, right? Particularly given the circumstances. It wasn't, hey, he got fouled hard and got into somebody's face and they started shoving and next thing you know, we got a fight. It was an altercation that had nothing to do with the guy he attacked. And he ran across the floor and it happened 100 seconds into the game. That's a level of, he came to fight. And to me, as a league, I look at that and I say, 5 games is the punishment for that? For me to take out someone that I've been wanting to take out for a while? That doesn't seem like a strong enough detriment to other guys who have problems with people.
I find super interesting the conflict that roils at the center of Draymond gets rewarded for all of the things Draymond has been. They are not punishments, and yet still Draymond feels like he is persecuted and a victim and someone who's over-punished. My guess is that whenever his pod comes out and he gets the attention that comes with being the electric, the high wire that is, you are a player that under other circumstances could not nearly be this famous, but you are rewarded for being how you are at every turn with contract, with champion, with the team was given to you, with you have earned your ego as a defensive player, but yet gets to play the victim as well, persecuted by the league.
He gets rewarded for one word that you said out of all those words, champion, because he wins. If he played for the Detroit Pistons for the last decade of his career, basically, we wouldn't talk about him like this. Now, maybe the Pistons would be a lot better team, but the reality is, when you do this, yes, you get carte blanche. Freaking Dennis Rodman goes to North Korea and says, hey, Kim, not such a bad guy. And we don't persecute him or whatever. We're like, that's just Dennis being Dennis. Dennis can't do that without 5 rings. If Kenneth Faried did what Dennis Rodman did, he'd be vilified.
What I'm asking you, I guess, is how does punishment become deterrent if you keep getting rewarded for things? You get 5 games and $700,000 in fines. That is a deterrent for most people on earth, but Draymond can just manufacture it into more money. Like Draymond can lose the money over here and make it over here by just talking and controlling all his own media rights.
Well, that's someone who figured out how to game the system, how to turn negatives into positives. Theoretically, everyone could do that. You could start your own podcast, Kenneth Faried, because I just brought up his name, and do all those things. But the reality is, no, because Draymond has a personality and is not afraid to share, and so he's able to capitalize on that. I don't think it's a case of he's being rewarded. I think it's a case of someone finding the off-ramp for the punishment.
My saying that he's being rewarded is you cannot dispute, if you're listening to this, that all the things that Draymond Green has been in his career, controversial, flammable, everything else, has resulted in Draymond Green getting all of the treasures that sports fame can provide.
No, it's not all the bad things he's done. It's all the good things. It's all the winning he's done that's led to that. What he's done is when the bad things happen, he makes lemonade out of those lemons. He's not being rewarded for the bad behavior, Dan. He's merely finding a way to turn the bad behavior into positive.
They've got other guys on that roster who have won multiple championships.
And when have they been vilified?
No, but they're not getting these rewards. It's not just because Draymond Green wins. It's because Draymond Green wins and he's not as cuddly as the other guys on that team. The other guys on that team make the Apple documentary that's super boring, that Steph Curry's more excellent at what he does than anybody is, but he's not as interesting as Draymond.
And I think that's the point. The point is he hasn't figured out how to make his lemonade like Draymond has.
You really like your lemonade.
Draymonade.
Why are you pleased with that?
Lemon Drade.
That was good.
Hey, yo.
No.
Hey, everybody, it's Mike Ryan. And one of the things that I like to do during the football season is bring friends and family together when my team is playing a road game. And hopefully it's against an in-state rival the next time I do this so I can trash all my friends with their team's trash performance. Usually, in recent years, it's gone the other way for me. But either way, fun is being had. And fun is being had because Miller Lite is involved. From kickoff to the final whistle, I just don't go wrong with Miller Lite. It's the only light beer with a taste worthy of our national obsession. And I hear the feedback. Many of you think I'm too obsessed with my football team. I get it, but it's football. It's the best thing. And what happens when you pair the best thing with another best thing in Miller Lite? Happiness. So this season, crack open a light beer that hits your taste buds so hard, you feel it in your heart. Make it Miller time all season long. Get Miller Lite delivered right to your door. Visit MillerLite.com/Dan, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Don Le Batard.
I actually thought you looked kind of good.
Stugotz.
Thank you. The beard's grown out a little bit. I got a little life in my face, I feel like. Little tan, Colorado, San Francisco. I had a great time, man.
You got life on your face.
You've got death on your face.
I think you got 40 to life on your face.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Look at that
See the
backdrop.
banner?
That is so good. Mina, you have arrived at the big time. Look at what has happened here. She has Lenny. What is happening behind you? This is a great commercial advertisement for one of the hottest football podcasts anywhere in America, the Mina Kimes Show with Lenny. When did you get this set up? Tell me all about this new production value that you have as you've skyrocketed to the top of sports media.
Is getting a roll down background skyrocketing to the top of sports media? Do you want to? Well, this isn't that entertaining for anyone listening.
Is that Mount Rainier?
Hold on a second. She's going to take this apart. This is always good.
No.
Yes.
Oh, the illusion is gone.
The illusion is gone.
What happened to the play?
It's you guys don't recognize this sign, the reference?
Yeah, that's
Market.
Seattle Fish Market.
Yeah.
Lucy
Mount
just
Rainier.
returned. She just returned from Seattle. Lucy, I'd like you to run your theory by Mina because Mina's kind of proud of Seattle, and Lucy is here to allege that the people of Seattle are something less than warm.
Hold up. I love
that's true.
Seattle. Yes, thank you. I love Seattle. It was beautiful. It was awesome. I would go back. However,
Here comes the butt.
Seattle freeze. That's a real thing, right?
Seattle freeze, sort of like Minnesota nice, but not nice, is what you're saying.
Yes, they were nice, but they weren't friendly.
Yeah, that's exactly how people in the Pacific Northwest are. My husband and I were just having this conversation because both of our families are converging for Thanksgiving now that we have a baby. That's the kind of thing that happens that never used to happen before. And we were talking about the difference between our extended families, and this was the key distinction. They're both nice, both very polite. His family, Philadelphia, Italian, very warm, gregarious. My family, Pacific Northwest, good people, nice people, not the warmest people.
We could not get anyone to talk to us outside of the Seahawks stadium. We were like begging people to do interviews, and it was just no. A lot of no thank yous, though. So polite.
Yeah.
Mina.
It's like the infamous post-Super Bowl celebration where everybody was waiting to cross the street in downtown Seattle. There was like a video that went viral. Yeah, yes, Chris?
Merging families for Thanksgiving, dangerous game.
The most dangerous.
Is it?
The most
How is it a dangerous game?
Just, like everyone's used to doing their holidays the way they do it. And when you change it up, it's just the first one's always, I'm just saying, it might work out well. Maybe you guys all do holidays the same, but it can be a dangerous game.
I think the only danger that I foresee is that everybody wants to hold the baby, right? Like right now, we've got a James Cook, Latavius Murray situation in the backfield, and there's one ball. And both moms want those carries, and they're both really nice and really polite. And they're like, no, I've been hogging him. You take the baby. But that's not what they mean. That is not, the undertone is, you better hand me that child or I will cut you.
Just don't give the ball to Ken Dorsey. He can like spike monitors and stuff like that. That would not be good.
I think I'm Ken Dorsey in this scenario.
How do we feel about the holidays in general? Do you have any strong holiday opinions?
I am, I guess this goes along with Lucy's theory. I really like alone time, and I am the person in the holidays where everyone's been at the table 4 hours and they're like, where's Mina? And I've been upstairs since I was a child, frankly. Another great thing about having our families here is they can watch the baby and I will disappear for periods of time with no repercussions.
I want to tackle a little bit of football with her because her information, the Mina Kimes show with Lenny, is stronger than most information that you will find anywhere. So help me first with this one, because I love watching Justin Herbert play, and I can't believe how excellent the Chargers are at losing. They produced the fourth most efficient offensive game of the season last weekend, and they lose to the team that produces the third most efficient offensive game of the season. Explain to me what is happening with the Chargers and give me the most accurate analysis you can on Justin Herbert, who I believe to be one of the greatest quarterbacks I've ever seen.
It's not that complicated. They have one of the worst pass defenses in the NFL. Like, that's it. That's why, I mean, the flip side of their incredible offensive team is that the Lions went toe to toe with them. And it's, as far as why the pass defense stinks, it's a little bit confusing. There's a lot of different aspects to it. I think they made a lot of really bad personnel choices, frankly, most famously paying J.C. Jackson, who now is sort of with the Patriots, a ton of money in free agency. They did a big trade for Khalil Mack, which I liked at the time, but I don't think he's lived up to what they had hoped. At all three levels, there's holes in this defense. And you can also look to the scheme. Obviously, they have a defensive coach, but that's why they're losing games. Justin Herbert played out of it. He had the best quarterbacking performance of last week, and it didn't matter because the defense was so bad.
Mina, is there any part of you that kicks back right now and says, told you guys about Josh Allen?
Oh, because he's struggling.
Yes, he went like a long con.
I have trouble because I already apologized for Josh Allen, so now I can't walk back the apology. I think Josh Allen's still an incredible quarterback, so I am not going to claim a victory on my pre-draft analysis. I am going to stick to my year 3 Josh Allen take, which I still think he's extremely, extremely good.
We are in the point in the Bills' timeline where if they're not delivering the W's the way that most expected, there's going to have to be a sacrificial lamb. This week it was Ken Dorsey. Was that the right sacrificial lamb or just the most sacrificial of the lambs?
It's funny. Is sacrificial lamb and scapegoat, do they mean the same thing exactly?
Put it on the poll, Juju. Do sacrificial lamb and scapegoat mean exactly the same thing?
The sacrificial lamb is the child of the scapegoat. That's how that works.
Thank you, Amin.
Oh, I guess so. Does that mean a scapegoat is a bigger fish? Like a sacrificial lamb is like a small sacrifice, but if you really want to please the gods, you have to deliver a scapegoat.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, I think he was the sacrificial lamb.
Does the scapegoat also die? Because a sacrificial lamb gives its life for whatever it is that this blame is. Is a scapegoat something that ends up dead?
That's a good point. Did ancient cultures even sacrifice goats? Maybe that's why it's not a sacrificial goat, because giving a goat to the gods doesn't get you anywhere, but a lamb does.
The gods love
Whose fault is it in Buffalo?
I'm going to do the annoying Mina Kimes thing. Mike, there's a few things at play here. One is the incredible amount of injuries they've suffered on defense. This is a defense that lost its best cornerback, its best linebackers, one of the best middle linebackers in football. And every week since those injuries have compiled, when you watch the games, you see offenses specifically target those positions. Also, I think Von Miller's not come back from injury the way they would have hoped. So this is a defense that was really, really good that has just lost too much talent. And that's a big part of the reason why they're losing games. The other thing is really just simply the turnovers in the big moments over the last few weeks. I posted the stats after a few stats after Dorsey was fired. The offense has been incredible all year, incredibly efficient and moving the ball. They've been incredibly efficient over the last 4 weeks amidst their struggles. They've had the highest success rate in football, but they have ranked worst in the NFL in turnover differential. And that's why they've lost games. It's not as fun, or it's not, I guess, for fans, it's not as interesting to just say the defensive injuries and turnovers and a few blunders and big moments, but that's really why they've been losing.
So I guess we can't absolve Ken Dorsey from the turnovers because I guess schematically maybe there's something there. We can absolve him of the injuries on defense, but your colleague Dan Orlovsky says that their offensive scheme, you don't have to prepare for it. It's the easiest scheme in the NFL to prepare for. So is Ken Dorsey good or bad at this?
Dan and I actually have gone back a little bit about this. I don't quite agree with him. It is a little bit more simple. Like when you look around the NFL, teams like Miami, for example, San Francisco, and you see all of the motion and the misdirection and the trickery. You watch that and you say, well, every offense should look like this. But there are some offenses in the NFL that use less, for example, pre-snap motion. I'll point to Cincinnati. That's an offense that hasn't gotten a lot of criticism, or even Philadelphia to some degree. They don't use pre-snap motion the same way because they have really, really good players who they can just line up and beat you with, and a different kind of quarterback. It's a whole different thing. The run game is very different. So I don't think the Buffalo offense is bad just because they don't use those same elements personally. I mean, if they were bad, it would be reflected in the numbers. Like these numbers aren't cherry picked. It's not like, well, they're the best third down offense in the NFL, or the quarterback is really good in drop back situations. No, they're like totalistic numbers, efficiency, success rate. If this was a bad offense, it would be captured in that. So I frankly don't think that he was to blame for their losses. I do think he was a sacrificial lamb or scapegoat or whatever, but they didn't have any other levers to pull. They extended their coach and their GM right before the season. That kind of puzzled me, frankly, especially the GM. So having done that, and obviously you can't move on for the quarterback, it felt to me like, and then they didn't even have a defensive play caller because Leslie Frazier's gone. They were just kind of looking around the room and thought, okay, we're going to go with the offensive play caller.
I will remind everyone here, there are plenty of people at the Football Information Trough producing a lot of content, but very few are doing it with more expertise and more thoroughly, more meticulously, with good information than Mina Kimes and the Mina Kimes Show with Lenny.
Well, there's Mikey and Stugotz.
God Bless Football, of course,
with the
does
Duke.
it better. Of course.
Also Sunday Night Live.
Lucy's there occasionally.
But Mina Kimes also, deserves to be in the conversation with
Andrew
God Bless
Hawkins
Football.
and Joe Thomas.
Yes. Can you explain to me, though, Mina, when you do some of the deep dives on these numbers and the analysis, what are some things that football fans think are true about this unit is good or this unit is bad, this player is good, this player is bad, and the evidence that you have doesn't support what is widely held, belief, where you're like, no, that's just not true. It gets repeated all the time, but that's not true.
Well, I think there are certain stats that we overvalue. Robert Sala just had a rant about this. I think he was talking about Quinn and Williams, but sacks, for example, when we talk about defensive players, they're very important. Obviously, you want to get to the quarterback, but it's certainly not a comprehensive way of analyzing who the best pass rushers are in the NFL. I'll point to a guy, Will Anderson, who's probably not going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year in large part because he doesn't put up big sack numbers in Houston. But when you watch the games, you see he is getting to the quarterback. He is excellent in run defense. He is getting pressure. He is a phenomenal football player. And a big part of the reason why I think that team has been surprisingly successful, they've been better on that side of the ball as well. So another one on the flip side, by the way, with sacks, we tend to blame the offensive line, but a lot of times they're a quarterback stat. A lot of when you watch sacks, you can really point to instances in which the quarterback is responsible for them. And it's something that tends to follow quarterbacks year to year, even if they move around teams. If you're a quarterback who takes a lot of sacks, chances are good you're going to be a quarterback who takes a lot of sacks for a long time.
So it is David Carr's fault.
It's Sam Howell's fault, isn't it? It's Sam Howell's fault.
He takes a lot of sacks. Yeah, he's getting better at it, though.
We're going to get to the evil billionaires, more evil than Jerry Jones, with Amin next.
Kentucky Fried Chicken's 2 for $5 wraps are back, and they're even introducing a new mac and cheese chicken wrap. Are you kidding me? Mac and cheese in a wrap? Two of my favorite things in the entire world. That is in addition to the classic and spicy slaw wraps. Creamy mac and cheese, a hand-breaded crispy chicken tender, and 3 cheese blend, all wrapped in a pillowy tortilla. God, do I love a pillowy tortilla. Order ahead on the app and cheer on tasty goodness with KFC's 2 for $5 wraps. It's finger looking good.
Peloton is your stage to work out like nobody's watching. A Peloton in your house means you make the rules. You exercise when you want, how you want, sing as loud as you want, wear what you want, or nothing at all. When you spend your hard-earned money, you don't just buy a Peloton, you open the door for you to do you. And nothing beats the feeling of exercising on your own terms, with or without clothes on. With up to $700 off your Peloton Bike Plus purchase, there's no better time to bring one home for the holidays and work out like nobody's watching. Peloton is your stage to unleash the real you, the clothing optional you. You want to try a climb or a low-impact ride class? You can. Or hop off bike and pivot the screen to do a bar, strength, or yoga class? You can. Make yourself uncomfortable in the comfort of your own space and your own skin, free of judgment, free of inhibitions. It's a fitness entertainment mashup that'll have you singing at the top of your lungs, sweating, and moving like you'd never do with others around you. For Peloton's best offer of the season, head to onepeloton.com/offers. All access membership separate. Terms apply.
Don Le Batard.
Again, started on the breakfast flan.
Oh, man, I've been singing a song to myself all morning long. Breakfast flan.
Stugotz.
Have you never heard the breakfast flan song?
No, hit me with it.
Okay. I wish I had some breakfast flan. Breakfast flan. Where can I find a breakfast like that?
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
That's Mina Kimes. She doesn't know how a countdown works, and she just keeps talking. Yeah, what? Nothing. We were on air while I was counting down. Here's where we are in the program, and here's where we are in the history of the show.
The program.
I believe that Mina Kimes, and we've got two people in here who want this crown. I believe Mina Kimes is the most popular person in the history of our show who is not Ron McGill or Tim Kirkshin. I believe that you are the third place finisher, but Lucy and Juju, I believe, have a comparable Q rating on popularity. Do I have this wrong as I try to pit people against each other?
I was just about to say that. For someone who claims to love your mentorship role and, as I don't know, it's paternalistic, has negative connotations, but, you're kind of that figure in a lot of our lives. You sure love doing this, Dan. In fact, the moment I first started doing your show, you pitted me against Pablo, I think, from the jump. Now, did I embrace that? Absolutely. It was a very winnable rivalry, easily. So, in fact, but as my headphone falls to the ground, but you're doing it again. No. Why do we have to be pitted against each other?
Can we dissect why you're not more likable?
How?
Can we what?
You want to say that again? You don't want to say it again? You just want to stare at everybody confused?
Chris Cody.
Thursday Chris, ladies and gentlemen. Excellent work by him. I think that when you got here, Mina, the very first thing you did, because I think you've got a selective memory, is you saw that Billy was the weakest one and you attacked him. That's what happened.
I don't remember that. I don't remember that.
She used to bully the hell out of
that. Is
fixated on her background right now. It looks like Mount Rainier is about to blow.
It does. It looks like everything happening behind you, Mina, is swaying. It looks like we've got a bit of an environmental crisis. Yes.
Is that Doug Baldwin?
No, it's Marshawn Lynch doing the Beastquake celebration over Mount Rainier. I got to. They said, what do you want on your background? And I sent like a 500-word text, and they incorporated, to their credit, most of it. You've got the Mina Kimes show sign that looks like the Pike Place sign. You've got Marshawn Lynch grabbing his crotch, flying over Mount Rainier. I was asked if I wanted to not have him grabbing his crotch because it's a family program. I thought if anyone is zooming in, they don't deserve to have that blurred out because they want to see it. And then finally, we have Lenny flying a tiny plane, I forgot what those are called, with a banner that says wins are not a quarterback stat.
What got left out? You said they accommodated most of it. What got left out?
I wanted a Mount Rushmore with, I think I said Ken Griffey Jr., I forgot, Edgar Martinez was on there. I had a list of my sports heroes, and they were like, it's a little busy as it is.
King Felix?
Not Steve Argent.
And that'd be hard
Gary
to
Payton.
pare that down to 4, and you're leaving some good people out if Edgar Martinez is making the list.
Edgar Martinez is a personal fave, but yeah. Anyways,
that's why she's the best. That's why she's the best, Dan. She's far and away, you feel me? I'm last place when it comes to popularity. I'm only in this conversation because of affirmative action. Lucy is second place for sure, but my sisters are killing it, and I love both of them equally.
I'm going to just make one small campaign on behalf of Juju. We talk about a lot more on Mystery Crate this week, but Juju possesses a superpower where people don't know who he is, but they assume looking at him, surely I know who you are.
It's a star quality.
It's undeniable.
Thank you, guys.
It factor. That's what that's called.
It's also different, though, than what I'm talking about. It's different because people do gravitate toward him magnetically. He takes more pictures than anyone around here, but he is also, on top of that, rivaling in popularity Mina and Lucy. I will leave it alone there. I will not cause any more division, but congratulations, Lucy and Juju, on arriving in this conversation because not a lot of people are here. Chris Cody's not here.
Do you have like a list on your phone of just who's
Yeah.
I know. I was gonna say, how are we gauging
Yes,
this?
I
So are you
do.
doing focus groups?
Yes,
Is
we
the focus
do
groups the
testing,
internet?
of course. What do you think? How do you think we decide that we're going to pay Lucy and bring her and fly her to Miami and have her do things? Yes, there's focus testing done.
Not only that, he's doing the Deion Sanders where these things are live. They're changing. Like, you can move up the list now.
It's competitive. Brad Williams
like
has been
during, like,
struggling
a-
lately.
I'm struggling.
What?
I'm here. I'm new. He's doing this all in front of my face. Just like, hey, these
describing, like-
these three people are popular. Brad, comedian, dwarf, not polling well. Not doing well.
During the presidential debates, when they have those dials that go up and down when people talk, that's what you need. Somehow, I don't know if you have anyone who can make this. You need that for that show. So not just real-time polling, but as we're talking, I want to know, like, for example, if I bring up a serious topic, does the dial start moving down? But then if I go into some nonsense, does the dial move back up? This is the kind of real-time information we
I
need.
think video should get to work on something right now that allows us to do that on the air graphically. But I've been trying to get to this list for about 3 hours here. I mean, for some reason, has put together very, very meticulously and with a lot of thought a top 5 list on only billionaires more evil, or that's not the phrasing you're using.
It's billionaires more evil than Jerry Jones because Mike said Jerry Jones is on the medal stand for evil billionaires, and I said, no,
Not even
exactly,
close.
not even close.
Feels like a
Thank
bottom
you.
5 list.
It's top 5, top 5 evil, bottom 5 good.
Plummeting those numbers, Chris.
Number 5.
Oh, I got an outside looking in. I'm sorry.
Okay.
This might surprise everyone. Elon Musk.
Elon Musk is more evil than Jerry Jones.
Yes.
I don't think that's going to surprise anybody. You think it's surprising that he's not in your top 5?
Yeah, he's not top 5. Yeah, he's outside.
All right, so you're saying this is a good list then, is what
Yes.
you're alleging.
It's a great list.
Number 5.
Number 5, Gina Reinhardt. Australian mining magnate, inherited all her money from her daddy. Wrote a book about how she should pay her mining employees $2 a day, and then there's no problem with that. Basically, is a completely indecent person who flaunts her wealth that she worked nothing to accomplish for.
Wow, strong list so
This
far.
list is like David Sampson and Adnan. Who are these people, brother?
Number 4.
Number 4, Donald Trump. Yes, influential. Yes, has a huge platform. No, not quite as evil as the names on the rest of this list.
Also not a billionaire.
He is
Number
a billionaire.
3.
On paper. Number 3, the Koch boys.
There you go. Wondering when they'd make
One
an
left.
appearance.
They're bad.
Well, no, they're together. I'm putting them together. All the Koch boys are together. Number 2, Kim Jong-un.
Okay.
Impressive.
How is he a billionaire?
It's a lot of natural resources in North Korea. It's billions and billions. But
Maybe he is. I don't know.
and then it's not spread out over anyone else. And then number 1, this should come as no surprise, Dan Le Batard.
Whoa. Unbelievable.
We just saw it in person. She just pointed out, you pit people against each other. You frame people as a certain thing. I've been trying to shake this Lou Bega thing for years, and they won't leave me alone, and that's all your fault.
You led me to believe that you didn't fist pump when Udonis Haslem hit that slam dunk against the Bulls in the playoffs for several years before finally copping to it.
I did do that. I did it in a sports bar. I couldn't believe that he dunked. He had so much time off. I was moved as someone who had covered him since high school.
Still can't believe he had the worst plus minus on the court that day. Made no sense from an inspirational perspective.
Mina, the San Francisco 49ers, is it any more complicated than when they're healthy, they are really great?
Turn those dials down, everyone. Mina, go ahead.
And when they are not?
It's so messed up. You think the dials are up for your list? Well, I guess there's
Got
only one
his
way to
ass.
find out. Dan, no Murdoch. Dan made the list though. Okay. That's a big part of it, for sure. And I think you certainly saw it's one thing to say, like, if you want to sound smart, Trent Williams is really important. He's the offensive lineman. But when you watch, you can actually see the impact and stuff, how they use him, especially obviously in the run game. I think it's not exactly the same as Miami, Dan, but with the Niners, you saw something on offense that you do see at times with Miami, which is they're a team that's devastating on first and second down. And a lot of their success, the metrics go down on third down when all that optionality for the run and the pass being blended together is not on the table. In fact, a couple weeks ago, I looked it up. Brock Purdy actually has the highest off-target rate in the NFL on third down. He's near the top on first and second, which I think reflects that. So you got a team where when they fall behind, when they have to catch up, are you guys going to cut me out? Oh, that's a 3-minute thing.
I love that she hasn't gotten any better at the specifics of
the dials are back up.
You shamed me earlier.
You
so
have
I'm very
3
concerned
minutes.
about
You
being
have
cut
3
off
full minutes. You have 3 full minutes.
Okay. I'm just saying, I think they're a team where when they're behind, there are some vulnerabilities on offense, but I do think that having Trent Williams and Debo back is huge. The defense also, during their 3-game losing streak, you saw some struggles, missed tackles, that sort of thing. I think they look a lot better. They looked a lot better last week, so they'll be fine.
Why are people insistent on telling me that the Miami Dolphins are frauds? I don't understand why you can't just enjoy what it is that you're watching.
You can't trick me. I saw that 10-second mark. I'm not you. I saw it. I'm not going to. I mean, I answered the question, I guess. I don't think that they're frauds just because they have not beaten the best teams that they've played against. I think that there's a lot of simple explanations for that. I think the defense has gotten better every week. It takes a while to 5 minutes now. Are you just putting up random numbers to mess with me?
The dials are all the way up.
Are we even on air anymore? Did you stop? I don't.
You got 2 minutes.
I'm so confused.
She sounds like Bryce Young.
Okay. I sound like Bryce Young. I think the Dolphins are fine. I think the defense, obviously, they didn't have. This is going to be perplexing for the audio audience. Chris keeps holding up signs at different times. He just held up a sign that said rap. I don't know if I'm supposed to rap. Do you want me to answer the question about the Dolphins or not? I feel like that's.
The thing that I'm laughing at is that it just reminds me.
It's just a joke for Mina. It's like it's just in a Zoom camera. Our cameras can't even capture it. It is just Chris Cody messing with Mina.
And yes, Mina, I don't know how
Try to be more likable.
I don't know how you
60 seconds
out the scent of he's just messing with me. But yes, when he went from 3 minutes to 15 seconds, 9 seconds later, and then to 5 minutes.
I think that the offense will be better at running the ball. They got the offensive line is getting healthy. A-Chain is back. And then defensively, it is a defense that takes a while to pick up. Obviously, Jalen Ramsey didn't play. Vic Fangio defense is notoriously complicated. You have seen over the last few weeks, they look more like the defense I thought they would be. That 4-man rush is good. The run defense obviously needs to improve. Some of that is structural because of the Vic Fangio defense. I do think that they'll be fine, especially by the end of the year. They're going to be one of the better defenses in the NFL. Not too worried about the offense, although if they do play from behind, similar to what I said about the San Francisco 49ers, the offense is less potent because of design.
Dials are back.
Did I make it?
2 minutes left.
10 more seconds if you could fill. Thank you.
I could have.
Where can they find your podcast, Mina?
Mina Kimes Show featuring Letty. You can find it wherever you get your pods. Next week, we are launching a YouTube channel, hence the fancy background.
Nice.